Okay. This is the first YouTube video. I look a little messed up because it's pretty late. So this is the first episode of this account, my five. This is gonna be called Yap Sesh, and I just finished watching JoJo's Land, Part 1, Episode 1. Amazing, I love it. Sandman is one of my favorite characters because that man doesn't need no horse, bruh. Needs no horse. Now, I'm a big fan of JoJo, and I have a buddy of mine who I explained to how JoJo works. There's basically, we can sum it up in two parts: before and after what Poochie did. Right? So before Poochie did, that's technically part 1, if that's what you want to count it. And I told him, if you're watching on Netflix, sorry, my TV. If you're watching on Netflix, there's no point. Well, there is a point. That's where it is all at. Season 1 and 2, part 1 and part 2 is season 1 on Netflix. Part 2, 3, and 4, I'm gonna be honest, I think 5 was not good in my opinion. The stands, everything, I think Netflix, the way Netflix animated it was so bad. So bad. I remember, what was it, like last year, they announced JoJo's Land, and I was at my friend's house. We sat there, hyped. I mean, holy crap. We were sitting there playing Elder Ring, I think. Or we were sitting there, or I was at home, or I was on, like, call with him or something. I remember talking to him. Or, no, okay. My bad. So, I'm scrolling on TikTok, and I get an ad for it. Or, a commercial for it. So, oh my god. I call him, I was like, yo, did you see, JoJo Land's gonna get animated? He's like, we were hyped. My favorite stand in JoJo's is Golden Experience Requiem. Amazing stand. Really good with support, really fast, he's all, like, he's like your average stand. He's about here compared to, like, Star Platinum, but, I chose him as one. I'm a very, like, I just think, one, everyone's gonna pick these crazy stands, you know what I mean? I'm not even saying GER, I'm just saying Golden Experience in general. He's very good, right? Because you can heal yourself. That's a better star, Diamond, what's his name? Josuke stand. Not the hand. Or Diamond Unbreakable. It's a Diamond something. Diamond. Man, I'm gonna look terrible. Crazy Diamond. Terrible fan, my bad. Crazy Diamond. He can only heal people. No, if I get hurt, I'm gonna heal myself. I can literally bring life. I can make a cult, be like, look, I'm Jesus. I'm fucking, but it, like, why would you want, really think about it. Why would you want the world? You know what I mean? Why do you want time stop? Because let's be honest, that is the most unuseful bullshit ever. You know what I mean? Most useless. Oh, well, I'm a time stop, and still. Yes, you'll be the #1 criminal in the world. How are you gonna clean that money, man? You're never, if you do that, you're never able to go back. Never be able to, sorry, I got that. Never be able to go back into normal life, you know what I mean? But, I'm all, amazing episode, good animations. I love the voice actors. I know his, Gyro, he's voiced by the guy that voices Gojo. Hey, I love it. What else I was gonna say? I can't wait for Dragon Ball. I'm a big talker about Dragon Ball. I understand more about Dragon Ball than JoJo's. JoJo's the type of show I like, because in the end, because right now, even though in the manga technically it has more, if you didn't know, in the manga JoJo has more pages than One Piece. If I remember, we're just doing the first 2 layers, like 21,000 pages of manga for One Piece. 25,000 pages. 4,000 more pages. And less time run. But the thing is, the reason why is because every One Piece episode is like 24 minutes. JoJo's is like 24, like 48. So that's 2 One Piece episodes. But hold on. Let me try to bring this up. Can y'all see me? That's better, okay? But when it comes down to Dragon Ball, I was thinking about it. You know, I ask people, hey, you should ask me questions. You know, Dragon Ball questions. Some friends, some other people I meet online playing games, like PS4. I used to have a PS5, but it broke, and I didn't have the money to fix it. I know I'm yapping about this, but it's called a yap set. Didn't have the money to fix it. So I sold it for a Nintendo, stupid. Sold it for a computer, gave that computer to my brother. And then a friend of mine hooked me up with this, so I'm so glad for him. W friend, if we can get W friend in the comments. I may not see that comment for a while, you know what I mean? This is the first episode, so. But, these are no, like, timely manner. These will be whenever I just get a thought or I just did something crazy. But with Dragon Ball, I got asked, right? If you had to beat any race in Dragon Ball, what would it be? Humans are off the table. Humans are off the table. What's the point of them? What's the point of them? No, be honest. What's the point of them? The only way you can make sense for being human is if you become an android. That's the only way. That's the only way you're keeping up with anybody, man. Sand, frosting. You literally have to enhance yourself to be on par with them. Because if not, then what's the point? You know what I mean? Being Namekian, right? I was like, okay, well, being Namekian. I was like, okay, so am I allowed to have it like any through media? And they're like, no, you can pick whatever you want. I go, okay, well, Ceruleans are strong, Heaters are strong, Moro's race is strong, because look at Moro, for example. Saiyans, Namekians, hybrid Saiyans, but, you know, androids. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, what would I really be? What if I had a chance to be reincarnated into One Piece, not One Piece, Dragon Ball, what would I be? What would I be? I thought about it. Because if you didn't know, I've done studies and stuff, the ultimate form can be gained. You don't have to be a Saiyan to get the ultimate form. God Ki can be attained. You don't gotta be Saiyan to put in a transformation if you didn't know that. So basically what I'm saying is humans, if they are around God Ki enough, they quite literally can transform. But that's about it. So literally ultimate form and God Ki is probably the best form that humans can get. Other than that, I don't know, man. Because I always thought, before, this was when Battle of Gods, I was like, why Piccolo never decides to get, Kaioken, you know what I mean? Like, for a long time, it would make sense, because he can kind of abuse Kaioken, because he can regenerate, but I kind of realized, if he can abuse it, then what's the point? You know, he doesn't get any benefits. He doesn't get Zenkai's. He does get power increased, even when he's practically healing himself, so he's almost getting stronger. That's how, everything works. But he's not like a Saiyan. Kaioken times 1,000,000,000 or something, and you literally die, as soon as you utter the words and you snap out of it, that Zenkai's about to be massive. But my favorite use of Kaioken, because you really gotta think about it, after the Namek Saga, what was the point of Kaioken? You know what I mean? There's no point of it. I'm sorry, get off topic. If I had to pick a race, it would either be a Heater or Moro's race. But the thing is with Moro's race, I don't really like the goat face. I like the Moro 7-3 merged. If I can be exclusively like that, I'd be fine. If not, I'd be a Heater. And this, I talked about it on my TikTok. I think if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I don't remember which one. But I believe Heaters are split up in 2 different races. There's warrior Heaters and there's non-warrior Heaters. And what I mean is, Gas, for example, he has no nose and no eyebrows. Even the fat dude, I think his name's Oil. has no eyebrows but a nose. He was close. I call him a halfie, right? Because he can be a warrior and non-warrior. And well, anyone can fight, yes, but they are deliberately not built to fight. That's why Gas exists, because he's built to fight. So if I was like, I'd rather be that, because their inner nature and their awakened form are broken. You know what I mean? Like, broken. And clearly they live long and stay young, because when Bardock went to Cerealian's planet, there we go, Cerealian planet, Gas was like 10. Years go by. That man still looks like he's 10. You know what I mean? So, he just gotta live longer than Saiyans. So, but that's what I would choose. I would choose, because the thing is, Cerealians, I really thought about it. There's no possible way to become a Cerealian anymore, because Granola died. See, this is when you can kind of abuse the Dragon Balls. Why not just wish your power back, your lifespan back? Like, I wish to regain all my lifespan, but keep my power, right? Because other than that, they were like 150 years, right? So he only has 3 years. After that arc, he should be dead in the superhero movie. Wasted potential right there, Toyotaru. You would have literally, and what should have happened, in my opinion, this is how the Granola arc should have ended. Granola arc ended. Goku and Vegeta was like, oh, you know, let's take this Namekian back to Earth with Granola, right? Let the Granola and we'll let them Namekian, and then they meet. And they can chat, blah 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 blah. Because you know, finally there's another Namekian. Now there's two supporter Namekians, right? I'm thinking about this. Granola comes. That's another strong fighter. In case Goku, Vegeta, Broly, Gohan, Piccolo, any of them can't fight. Because one, Goten and Trunks are so underused that in reality we need to use them more. Because I'm so tired. Because what was it? It was 2016, I think, and the Goku Black arc just aired, and no one knew what the arc was called, right? So it was just everyone assumed it was Goten. Can we please get some love for Goten, bro? Right? Because I was thinking about it. I also said I think Trunks and Goten should start slowly splitting paths. Because we think about it, Trunks is literally from a $1 billion corporation, while his best friend is a bum. Like, no hate, but that's literally him, right? So I want an arc. Well, it starts getting to Goten's head. He's starting to hang out with other people, so it's getting to Goten's head. I mean, no, Trunks. Let me finish with Granola. So we can have Granola come and continue to train, and we, you know, because I think we need to add more like strong people to the Z Fighters, because obviously, I've talked about it before. I have a feeling they're gonna make Turles, Cooler, and BoJack Cannon, because it would make sense to have BoJack Cannon, because Space Pirates and the Galactic Patrol. I said this earlier in one of my other videos. It's about to be a long, earlier videos. Galactic Patrol needs its own side story, in my opinion. We need more characters of different races, because I'm tired that join the Z Fighters, right? I said, mutated, they're called Heras. That is BoJack's race. They're called Heras. Have a mutated Hera crash land on Earth. Be on par with Goten and Trunks. So then him being there gets Goten and Trunks want to, you know, train, and because now they have someone to. But this is my art for Goten and Trunks. This is my idea. So Trunks has been hanging around these kind of richer kids, and he's hanging around Goten. What is that called? Country bumpkin. A country bumpkin. And he was like, hey, you know, I'm gonna stop hanging out with him slowly. And to Goten, he assumes it's because he's not strong, you know, it's not appealing, you know, or Goten's like, oh man, well, whatever. It kind of hurts his feelings a bit. And then he meets a new buddy. He's into martial arts. He's like, oh man, I love martial arts, because just the way, it's like a dance. It's to the guy, it's a dance. or it could be a girl. We can have, because in my opinion, I think we should start adding more and more like transgender things, right? Gay, like I think, not Trunks and Goten. I hate that ship. They're literally best friends. Like, they would jump Frieza if they had a choice. You know what I mean? Like, why not just give them their own little hoo-has, right? Their own little huzz. But Goten meets someone. It could be a trans boy, you know, going girl, whatever. But they like martial arts. They're a big fan of martial arts. Okay, so I'm sorry. Sorry for it's gonna be a weird cut. But I was just talking to my friend about JoJo's. What was I on again? I don't know, but I would like to see a part of JoJo, maybe part 10 or 11. I don't remember what part we're on. I have no clue with the JoJo Land. The last time I seen it was like a year or two ago, and the only thing I remember is Tussac 4 literally going to D4C's infinite barrier thing. Other than that, I don't remember. But what I would like is a Rocky to make a part where the stand we're seeing through a point of view where we don't know. You know what I mean? We have no clue what he's seeing because we don't see it. There are stands there. He starts meeting people that can do weird stuff, but he doesn't know they're stands. So we're watching it through someone that's standless. Now, I'm not saying keep it where he's standless the whole time. Keep it where he's standless for a good part. And make it where we slowly see glimpses, right? Maybe a finger or two. Because, in my opinion, I think you can gain stands if you're around stands so long, you know what I mean? Or, you know, give them the old classic way, stab them with an arrow. But that, yeah, I think that'd be cool. Because that's how I like seeing it. Where the memes and stuff, if a Rocky leaned into it, it'd be pretty funny. Right? Where it's like, oh, look at these stands, and you like swipe through, and there's just blank pages. It's because, you know, we're saying this. Now that, if we had that, oh yeah, it'd be W, you know what I mean? It'd be W. After this, I'm literally I'm editing this and posting it and hopping on Fortnite with my friend. But I would like to just say, and if we're gonna, oh, I kind of remember, I think I was talking about Dragon Ball, about what's gonna be canon. Turles, Bojack, all that. Oh, the Goten art. Goten Trunks art. We can have it where Trunks meets rich kids, he kind of goes with them. It's just, Goten goes, this is, because he's meeting this transgender boy that's going to a girl, or just a girl or a boy, whatever. Because in my opinion, I think Dragon Ball needs to lighten up, because there's no way over the, you know what I mean? Sorry. Over the years, we're not. But I was like, okay, let me think. He sees this, he's like, come fit, you know what I mean? And we can have it, because mind you, we are in a world where they're not fighting gods. We're watching teenagers trying to find themselves in the world, because Gohan is literally one of these, like, I think, no joke, the strongest. Which pisses me off, because I'm a Goku fan. But I gotta give what credit's due. He is there. I'm also a Broly fan. So let's say, I don't know, Goten. You know, he kind of practices martial arts holding that, because he can go Super Saiyan. But he kind of realizes, hey, you know, anything happened to my dad, my brother, Mr. Piccolo, all these powerful people, who's gonna stop that foe? You know, so he decides to practice. Decides to kind of follow in his dad's footsteps. Now we go to Trunks, and we see Trunks kind of getting a little lazier, hanging out with the rich people, realize that he can, you know, he has power, right? And that kind of gets him, he has power, but he's not even the strongest on the planet. So he starts training, right? Starts training and still hanging out with these people. So they're still splitting paths. And because I think Goten should follow his dad's footsteps, right? And this is what I'm about to say. Big curve. For average Saiyans, for low-class Saiyans, Goku will be the strongest in history. For elite Saiyans, Vegeta will be the strongest in history. For mutation Saiyans, Broly will be the strongest in history. For hybrid Saiyans, Gohan will be the strongest in history. For Namekians, Piccolo will be the strongest in history, other than Zalama. Let's have it where Goten becomes his own sub-genre, right? Because in my opinion, how we bring Super Saiyan 4 canon is because how we can make it, because in my opinion, will Daima's canon into Dragon Ball? I don't think so, because I think I explained this in one of my videos, but if not, hold on, let me get a piece of paper. Okay, so this is how the timelines would be set. I've talked about this in, it's backwards, which sucks, this is Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Daima. These are different timelines. You're not telling me there's not, because it wouldn't add up. It would not add up. Having Daima, right, hold on. Adding Daima, because this is what the timeline would look like. If we're going how everything was set in Dragon Ball. So boom, 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 boom. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Daima, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT. That makes no sense. A single lick of sense. How we can make it canon is Goku mentions it, right? Because thing is, we can say, oh well, the Daima, different time. Like outside the demon realm, time flows differently, right? So while he was in there, it could have been, I don't know, a day or two had passed on the outside world. So when he left, he kind of forgot because, well, one, he needs a Saiyan tail and he doesn't have it to get GT or Daima. And Vegeta, how we can make it where Super Saiyan, the Ultra Vegeta, he realizes it's similar to Super Saiyan 3 and he doesn't have the right, or it's too much stamina drain, so he puts a mental block on it. That's what we can do, right? And how we can make Daima canon is by the tail. But this is how we're going to make it different. Because Daima, we're going to make Daima, because Goku, because this is how we're going to do it. That's, in my opinion, demon form. Because, bro, Goku has a god form and a demon form. Right? Why not make it where, boom, you know what I mean? So, Goten goes through Gohan while he's doing the Super Ant study, and he finally got the Super Ant God. Yeah, we'll make that thing. And he's like, okay, Mom told me that you had a tail when you were a kid. And he was like, yeah, you know, and he explains it. And he goes, would I get a tail? He goes, no. Hybrid Saiyans getting a tail are so rare that I was just a rare case. He goes, what if I wished for a tail? He goes, I don't know. He goes, you want to see what happens? And Gohan, you know, because it's a brotherly thing, y'all like two monkeys with one single neuron sharing. He'd go, sure, because he would like to study it. So they grab the Dragon Balls and wish for it. He gets the tail, and Gohan studies it. Because that's the thing, he wants to study, see how it works, see how it goes. And I think the only way this would make sense to me is Saiyans can only have Saiyans with tails if they... You need to calm down, I'm excited. Saiyans, right, so let's say Goten. For example, Goten or Goku. Let's say Goku kept his tail. Gohan was born with a tail. Next kid, born with a tail. Let's say the tail is the repetitive gene here. As soon as Goku removed it, he had that little bit of tail DNA left. Gohan had a tail. Next kid didn't have a tail. What if it's like that? You know what I mean? And since Gohan had his tail chopped off when he was like 3, 4, he didn't, you know what I mean? So that tail DNA no longer exists. So in Goten, so they wish for him a Saiyan tail. He trains with it. You know, he kind of studies it. Gohan studies it, and he goes, okay, I'm gonna go train with it. And he trains. And he realizes having a tail is much easier to control. I need to go. Amazing episode 1 of Yap Sesh. I love it. But I have to go. Like, I have to play Fortnite with my friend. This is probably like a 30-minute, maybe longer video. I need to edit this and post this. But if you like it, I will post later more about things, mainly Dragon Ball, but anything really. If you want me to talk about a specific topic, put it down in the comments. I will look it up or a quick summary of it, talk about it, put my thoughts into it. yeah, so I think you see my pillow. My game chair's all wonky, but yeah, if you like, hit the sub. I think that's about all I gotta say.